All right, everything's
We
open.
live?
We live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Yay.
woo!
And to those of you who are hungover, this is your show. So, for the subscribers, if you guys do not know, we have a subscription service now where you can receive a meal prep recipe every Monday, and that way you have the whole week to prepare, and you can prep with me on Sunday. So today, if you were a subscriber, you received a recipe on Monday, which is the pesto, the pesto chicken and veggies. Veggies being grape tomatoes and asparagus. So the first thing on our list was our rice, but I already did that just because it's very simple and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So that's all set. The next thing we're going to do is our chicken. So we have about 2.5 pounds of chicken. Riley, stay with us.
Guess he didn't like the chicken.
So for our chicken, you're going to cut it in an inch by inch size, bite-sized piece. So I have pretty much the majority of it done. And I'm just going to show you one piece. So you're going to cut it in half lengthwise. Just about that, just bite-sized pieces, but try to make them all the same size just so they cook evenly.
Yes, cooking evenly is really important. I hate when, you cut the mismatched sizes, you cook it all up, and all of a sudden you're looking at one of these bigger pieces and it's still pink in the middle. It's like, oh, darn it.
And when you're checking to see if your meat is cooked, start with the biggest piece. That will show you if they are all done.
It does stand to reason.
Yes.
And the center of the piece of chicken would be 165 degrees if you wanted to measure. I think that's the temperature you have to get up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
It's different when you have smaller pieces, but
yeah, definitely. Sure.
Does anybody even cook with a meat thermometer anymore?
I know, seriously. I could definitely see it if you were new.
I do it with really big pieces of chicken just because.
Yeah.
But then again, it really never gets up to the 165 because it cooks a little bit more for I think 10 minutes after you take it out. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly. All right. So next we're going to start cooking our chicken. What you're gonna do is heat your skillet/pan, whatever you have. You're going to heat about a tablespoon of olive oil.
I still love that pourer. I don't care how many times you use it. That is the coolest oil
pourer. I think it's the
pourer.
Rachel Ray.
Yeah.
Feels so official. Like an actual cooking show.
Yes.
Okay, so while that's heating up just a little bit, just about a minute or so, not even, I'm going to finish up my tomatoes. So you're going to cut your tomatoes in half, and about 1.5 cups to 2 cups, depending on how much you like tomatoes. If you're like Dan, you don't like them.
But you'll eat them, right?
I will eat them. I have finally gotten over myself, and I will eat tomatoes now. Just a quick shout out. Rev, the Tamil, thank you so much for joining us today in our Twitch channel. Really appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Oh yes, that's another thing for my Instagram people. We are also streaming on YouTube and Twitch right now, so if you go into my profile and you click the link, it's Linktree. The first link is to our YouTube. So you can see that we have a camera right here that's coming down on my workspace. So it's you'll be able to see more, better viewer experience if you want to do that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so skillet's heating up right now, just finishing up cutting my tomatoes in half.
I've cooked cherry tomatoes without cutting them in half before, and I sorely regret it.
Because when you bite into it, it explodes.
Yeah.
That is not the best.
Sometimes that's desirable to people, I think, to just cook the outside, get it kind of crispy-ish, roasted.
Yeah.
So then you get
I don't like that.
Get a crispy treat with a gooey center.
Oh,
Melts in your mouth.
All right, so we have about 2.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. I cut them in about an inch by inch. We're putting it on a skillet that has been heated up with olive oil, about a tablespoon. Gonna mix that around. So we're not gonna add the pesto just yet. We're gonna cook the chicken a bit. Let some of the water that is held in the chicken release so that we can drain it. We are going to season it though a bit with kosher salt, my favorite, and pepper.
So we're gonna add a little bit or a lot of kosher salt today?
A little bit this time, just a little bit. We're not gonna put it on the pour, the pour setting, the little dots. All right, so just a little sprinkle.
Oh, I had a mishap with red pepper seasoning once upon a time. So most of my seasoning containers, you screw the top off to season it.
Yeah.
Well, I had one that was a pop top for my red pepper flakes, and kind of forgot about that while I was cooking, twisted it off, and then just went,
pour.
Oops. I mean, it was great if you like really spicy food. Not so much if you're a little averse to spice.
Yes. That is not good. So if any of you are interested in the recipe I'm doing today, you can subscribe $5 a month and get every recipe.
Yeah, we even send out the old ones.
Yeah.
So we have someone that said garlic salt. Are you using garlic salt or just regular right now?
So I'm using just kosher salt and pepper. I'm just going to cook it a little bit just so that the water comes out of the chicken so that I can drain it a bit if it does. Sometimes there's not too much. And then we're going to do our half of the proportion of pesto, basil pesto. So we're using a 1/4 cup for this entire recipe, so we're going to use half of that. Just to start with the chicken. So while that's cooking up a bit, I can cut my asparagus. I already cleaned the asparagus with, I can show you guys if you're not aware.
Oh, always got to showcase that. I love the vegetable wash.
And again, this is not sponsored or anything. I just love the product. I found it I found it listening to a podcast. So this is the fruit and veggie wash by Eat Cleaner. So all you do, you have your produce, you spray it, mix it around, spray it. You just want to get as much surface area as you can. And then you let it sit for just 2 minutes, you rinse it off, and then just kind of let it dry. That's it. Pretty awesome. Crazy too with blueberries. That's what blew me away. Did you guys clean it with blueberries yet?
Yes.
Doesn't even taste the same.
I didn't even know blueberries could be that blue.
Seriously. Like blueberries are blue. They're not like that waxy gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. I mean, honestly, I think washing the blueberries was like what finally did it for me, where it was like, yes, I'm washing my vegetables and fruit with this all the time.
Sold. I know, because you think that water's enough, but I mean, I'm sure it's gonna get some of the surface dirt, but it doesn't actually clean it. Like the wax is on. The wax is on there. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just cutting the bottoms off the asparagus. The cleaned asparagus.
Oh, you don't like to eat the tough, chewy root part?
I do not. I'm not a fan of that.
Quick shout out to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Heather. We really appreciate you hanging out with us.
Woohoo! Alright. So this is about a large bunch of asparagus that I'm using. It might be 2 small bunches at some grocery stores.
You need smell-o-vision. How awesome would that be?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great if all you guys sitting at home right now could smell everything that we were cooking? Oh.
You need to create that.
You can if you make your own.
Oh, hey.
Oh.
You can smell it if you cook it yourself.
That's very clever. So yeah, if you guys want that smell-o-vision, just cook along at home, subscribe, get the recipe, and live it up.
Tune in at 11 o'clock on Sundays with your recipe and ingredients.
Oh, it probably is important to note too. We do film these shows and we save all the recordings. So if you end up missing the show, you will be able to catch a what word do I want to use here? A replay? Replay. Yeah, you'll be able to catch a replay or a rerun on either our Twitch channel or our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel you'll have more success with just because Twitch only saves your film days for like 60 or 90 days, somewhere in there, which is great. So you still get it for like 3 months, but
yeah, that's still a while.
That's still good. All right, chicken's still cooking up. So it's actually there's not a lot of water that's coming out of the chicken. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the basil pesto. Add that in. Okay, so I'm going to proportion out a 1/4 cup, and then I'll use half of that. So an 1/8. Just with the chicken to start. Smells so good.
oh, it really does smell good.
I love basil. Oh. We usually grow it out in our backyard in the summer.
Oh, no kidding.
It gets huge.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have basil.
Yeah. I
Plants.
feel like basil is just easy to maintain as a plant.
Yes.
Good
Maybe.
to know.
I don't know.
Unless if we're just good at growing basil.
You've got that
I mean, I'm not
perfect
good at
basil
everything.
soil. It's actually one thing that I really want to do this spring, summer. Now that I have a house and a yard, I want to grow my own vegetables.
Yes.
I've got
It's tough.
It is. We tried here and
I've heard you've got to put a lot of time and
Okay.
love into it.
Yes.
yes.
But I could eat something I love.
Yeah.
And you know where it's from.
Yeah.
And you've watched it grow and all that stuff. No pesticides, no
Yep.
everything.
That's very
Exactly.
true.
I wish that we could get our food from places that we all know. You know?
Alright, so there actually is quite a bit of liquid that came out of the chicken now, so I'm just gonna dump that in the sink, just so it doesn't mess up with the consistency of the basil. Try not to get it in the sink. No chicken.
No runaway chicken.
No way.
Chicken's running like it's got its head cut off or something. All right, that's bad joke number 1.
Dad joke.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's something I need to add is a little counter in one of the corners for every terrible joke that I tell.
That would be fun. Okay, so I drained the liquid that came out of the chicken. I'm going to do half, so an 1/8 cup, but this is a 1/4, so I'm just going to use half.
So what's pesto made of?
The sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get the thing.
This is a real question. I don't actually know everything.
Well, basil, sunflower oil, spinach, garlic.
Basil, okay.
Yeah.
So that's,
And then salt and cashews and potato.
Cashews,
Oh, wow.
really?
Yeah, you want to look at it?
yeah.
Wow. I learned something today.
Learn something new every day. All right.
I just assumed it came from a pesto plant.
A pesto plant.
Really?
No.
It just
Dad
grows.
joke number 2.
I believe them.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Alright, so we are mixing our chicken in pesto. Just an 1/8 a cup. For now. We'll let it cook a little bit more, and then we're going to do the veggies. If you want it to cook a little bit quicker, you can actually put a lid on it just to contain the heat. Which I will do.
Yeah, it also helps cook a lot more evenly.
Yes.
Like we were talking about before. I've tried to cook meat without covers on, and
Yeah.
it just kind of singes the outside and doesn't
Yeah.
get the inside. So
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. Alright, our asparagus is ready. Not this area a bit. Okay. Great, so we have our asparagus and tomato ready to go after.
So, quick question about the pesto sauce that you're using from Heather on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is it vegan? I heard pesto sauce is usually made with cheese.
It is
I think,
made
yeah,
with
it is.
cheese. So
I'm sure you can get some that aren't though.
I have it right here, and the fourth ingredient is cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Just cheese?
It's grana. Oh. Padana.
Did he just pull your
He pulled
computer
my
plug out?
Yeah.
Riley!
Yeah, I don't know, some kind of cheese, and then it's made with cultured milk, salt, and enzymes.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that question. That was a very good question. Yeah.
Yes.
So
and I thought it was Parmesan cheese, but apparently it's a different one.
Yeah.
But there's Romano cheese in it too.
okay, so there's a couple different
yeah.
cheeses in it.
Just two.
Ah.
Yep. So it does say contains milk. Of course.
So for those of you who are lactose intolerant, you probably don't want to have too much pesto.
Yeah.
Or make your own.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Leave the cheese at home. Well, don't leave it at home because, well, you wouldn't have it in the first place.
Would that be a dad joke number 3?
Leave it at the store.
I don't know, that one was a little weak.
Alright, so to see that your chicken is cooked, I'm just chopping some in half that are pretty big to see if there's any pink on the inside. It looks like we're doing good. So we're also going to throw our chicken back in after our veggies are finished cooked, so we can just put it all together. So I'm going to take off the heat, put it on a plate, so that way we can use our pan for our veggies. Okay. Alright, so taking the chicken off. Just put it on a clean plate.
Riley's standing there looking so patient.
Riley, oh.
Like, is that chicken for me?
Oh man. Riley turned 14 on Monday.
14.
Ooh.
And he is so deaf.
Deaf.
So deaf.
You know what I was thinking? He's been with us for more than half of our lives.
Wow.
Oh,
I know.
puppy.
When he turned 14, I was like, wow.
Alright, so we have a mixture of some of the pesto in the water that came out of the chicken, so I'm just going to dump that. Kind of rinse the pan out. Then I'll just use a paper towel. Just clean it up a bit. Alright, so we're just going to spray our pan down with some olive oil again. And we're going to throw on our asparagus.
All right.
Woohoo! Veggies.
Now, I've got a question that I'm hoping somebody out there can answer.
I think I know what you're going to ask.
Why does asparagus cause such a bizarre smell?
Yes, I was going to say that.
I've always wondered that, and I've never actually gone out of my way to look it
I'll
up.
Look it up. Look it up. Because I was going to ask that same question. So he's referring to when you eat asparagus and you pee. Your pee stinks.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
So-
find something throttable here.
And he's going to stink all week. And if you're pregnant with me, we're in it together.
But it's good. It's good for you.
No, I'm very curious too.
So, I mean, WebMD is okay. It's decently credible.
Women,
No?
really?
Yeah.
I went in with a cold. I came out with cancer. My God.
I mean, for what you take it, but that's what I was told when I went to school, that it was an
Yeah?
credible-ish site. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I
I still
think-
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
But-
one of those things where anyone can edit it, but for the most part, it's doctors that
Oh, wait,
write most of
can
the
anyone
stuff.
edit a
Well,
WebMD?
I think you have to have credentials to
Okay.
do it, but
So we just hope that they're not telling
Yeah.
us they're on.
it's like a crowdsource.
Yeah.
But the crowd is all MDs.
Yeah. So let me see. I will find one other source too, because I always try to find two different ones.
If you can find 2 or 3 credible sources that kind of say the same thing, you're like,
Exactly.
oh, all right, this is probably pretty legit then.
There's so
Yes.
many, like for example, I'm looking at just looking stuff up, one of the first ones that always comes up is livescience.com, and just I never look at those.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, they use that word
Not
science.
anymore.
I don't think it means what they think it means.
Isn't it supposed to be credible sources or .org or .gov?
Most, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would mean they're not for profit.
Exactly. So
Right.
they're
So why
out
would-
there just to provide information.
We're not trying to sell you something.
For profit.
Yeah.
So-
but .coms are some of them are credible too.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually have a very interesting little factoid to throw out there to the masses. So, this is something that Google doesn't advertise that it has, and it's something that you wouldn't know about unless somebody told you how to access it. There is a search function in Google that lets you look for just scholarly articles.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So these are peer-reviewed studies, things that if you're a nerd like me, you'd actually enjoy reading, but for general population, you would look at it and be like, what is this nerd garbage?
Well, that's like the closest to like real information
Yes.
that you can get, but then also we have to consider who funded it, like, and all that
Yeah.
other stuff. But that, I mean, from
Like-
the surface, that's good.
Exactly. It's like you can look at actual scientific studies as they're published. Of course, you got to know what you're looking for, as Victoria was saying.
Yep.
You don't want to just take that and be like, oh, there's a study on it, so clearly this is legitimate. Well, there are a lot of studies out there that are done with the intention of selling a product. So, they fudge numbers a little bit. They make some things up here and there just to make everything kind of sound better. Another important thing that you always want to look for is what the controls of the experiment were.
Right. Yeah.
Because if there's just way too many variables and they're like, yeah, see what happened? Well, that's when you end up with causation without correlation.
Oh.
And, I'm sure people remember that from their science classes back in high school. Like, oh, I remember that, but what the heck does that even mean? Well, causation without correlation is when something seems to be related, but it actually has no relation whatsoever. It's just the way the study was done. So, to access that, you go to google.scholar, and that's how you can search for just peer-reviewed articles. We have a question on Instagram about the veggie and fruit cleaner. Do you buy it at Amazon?
You can get it on Amazon, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, you can get it on
she's
Amazon.
doing pretty good.
There's also a powder that if you have bulk produce or if you have lettuce, like leafy, you can soak it as well. So instead of just a spray, you have that option too. But it's good stuff.
Nice.
They also have poultry, seafood. That's what I use to clean this stuff too.
So you can clean your veggies and your meats.
Clean all your food. So the asparagus takes a little bit just because it's so dense.
That is some pretty thick asparagus.
It is.
Okay, so this asparagus question is
Oh, you found
actually
it?
it's interesting. I did find two different things.
Wait,
that
hold
said
on.
similar. Go ahead.
So what we're doing is we just researched because I'm cooking asparagus. We were curious why your urine smells when you eat it. So
Listen
here's our
to
answer.
this. Okay. So apparently there's only some people that have this gene that you're able to smell this or create this type of smelling pee.
What?
Really?
Yeah, so it's saying some people blame. There's no clear answer, by the way.
Okay.
Some people blame it on sulfur-containing fertilizers on asparagus plants, but there's no record of that causing anything.
Yeah, because then wouldn't that make other vegetables do the same thing?
Right,
Exactly,
and
so
then others, so others suggest that only people who carry a particular gene break down the sulfur-containing proteins in asparagus and release the odor.
What?
Interesting.
But I feel
That
like
is the last thing.
I mean, is there anyone watching right now that has eaten asparagus and does not get that smell? Like,
I mean, I feel like I haven't, like, prominent, that hasn't happened, but I haven't also
Really?
paid attention. I mean, I don't eat it that often, so I
Okay.
couldn't say that, you know,
Oh man.
but isn't that
Interesting.
weird? That's
Because
the last thing I
my
thought.
pee definitely smells
Yeah.
oh yeah,
when I have asparagus.
yeah, I'm in that boat too.
Yep.
I know it.
Yeah, so it's like,
I'm sure everybody else in the bathroom knows it too.
yeah, so either you're, and it says both. You have the gene that produces it and the gene that smells it. So there's two variables that
Oh, wow.
they're considering, yeah.
I wonder if that's similar
Oh,
to oh shoot, what is that spice that some people think it tastes like soap and
Oh,
cilantro.
Yes.
Cilantro.
So
Yeah.
this is an interesting concept too. We call those people that taste that cilantro as soap like super tasters or something because their taste buds are much more sensitive, and that's how you kind of determine Like, it's
Okay, so somebody who can like really taste cilantro, they'd probably be a good chef because they have like a good palate, right?
I guess. I think it's more of the people that taste it as soap, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
I wonder if there's any purpose to your urine smelling with asparagus, because you know how like way back when hunter-gatherers had berries,
Yeah.
it tasted a specific way.
So you would know that was
exactly. So I wonder if there's anything with asparagus. I don't know.
All right, guys, this is it. We need to fund research on asparagus and urine smells.
Yep.
Real quick before we're having a great time. We're kibitzing. This is awesome. Question from Leonard on Instagram.
Yep.
He just wants to know real quick what the name of the wash is that you use.
I can come up close with it too.
Oh, we got Heather from YouTube letting us know that she tastes the soap and cilantro.
No way! Super taster. All right, so this is
that's what it's called.
Deep Cleaner. It's a fruit and veggie wash. It's beautiful.
Perfect.
Okay, so asparagus is cooked pretty well. We're gonna add in our tomatoes now. And we have about 2 cups. Add those in. And we're also going to add the remaining basil pesto. And Riley smells it.
Oh, look at him get to attention.
He came right in. That was cute. Okay. Alright, so we have our tomatoes, basil pesto, and asparagus cooking in here. Just gonna cook it up a little bit more until the tomatoes wilt a bit. And then we're gonna throw our chicken back in, and combine it all, and then that is it. Very simple recipe. It's very delicious. Do you want to start talking about our protein?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Because all I have left is just adding in the chicken, and that's it. So we're pretty much done with this.
The other thing that we were going to do for you guys today is last week, for those of you who joined us, we talked about carbohydrates. And in the spirit of it being National Nutrition Month or Nutritional Awareness Month, however they're spinning that, we're going to talk a little bit about proteins today to give you some more good information on that. So I guess I just want to kind of start with what protein is. So it is a macronutrient, like carbohydrates, like fat. It's something that your body can't naturally produce, so you do need to ingest it. We use protein to build, repair the tissues of the body. It's a fundamental building block for all of the structures, such as your bones, your cartilage, muscles, skin, blood. And for those of you who aren't aware, your fingernails and your hair is also mostly made of protein. No, that does not mean you should eat your fingernails and your hair to get extra protein in your diet, but...
Because that's what we were thinking.
Some people chew their nails, but unfortunately, you will not get a good source of protein from chewing your nails. Some other interesting things about it, it is the chemical compounds that we produce in our bodies, like hormones, enzymes, things like that. We also need protein to fund those developments, if you will. No protein, no enzyme production, no hormone production.
Yeah.
And well, for those of you who know a little bit about enzymes and hormones, if you don't have those in your body, bad things happen. So here's a real interesting thing about protein, where it really differs from fat and carbohydrates as far as your diet is concerned. Your body will store excess carbohydrates as glycogen, and then eventually it will turn that and transfer it into fat. So the body stores excess carbohydrates and excess fat to be used later. The body does not store any excess protein that you ingest. So this is actually a really big reason why, if you have a protein deficient diet or if you're malnourishing yourself, your body will actually start to eat its own muscle tissue to fuel its protein needs. So That's one of the things that I always try to really encourage people who are attempting to build muscle is you need to be in a caloric surplus to build new tissues. If you're in a deficit, you're not going to build much of anything. You can do it. It is possible to build in a deficit, but you gotta be on point with your measurements and your sciences, and you have to know your body inside and out. So I always just recommend to people, if you're trying to build, you want to be in a slight surplus. Continuing on though, the overconsumption of protein is not going to make up for, not having protein on a day. So you do want to avoid that. Too much protein in your diet can absolutely be bad for your kidneys, and you don't want that. Kidney stones are bad. What are some of the other things that can happen to your kidneys from trying to process too much protein?
So protein should not be found in like your urine or anything, but like you said, if you're eating it in an excess, like how is it going to be excreted? And then protein's much bigger than the things that get filtered through your kidneys. Same thing goes for if you have glucose in your urine from diabetes. Those things shouldn't be there, so a bigger molecule is trying to pass through, and it's damaging as it's going through. Yeah.
Very nice. That was a good answer to that question. So everyone's needs for protein is going to be vastly different. What I've typically started from YouTube, full kidney failure can also be something that will happen from over-ingestion of protein. So
other factors too, like anything you ingest, like also most drugs that we take, whether they're good for you or bad for you, they
go through the kidneys too.
They damage them over time. So.
Yeah. So your body has a natural detoxification process through the kidneys and the livers. That is their function. They're filtering everything out that you put in your body, that goes through your body. But I don't want to drag on too much and take up too much time. But so protein needs, as far as people are concerned, the average human being will be able to utilize and process about 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. When you get into endurance athletes, they're going to be able to process a little bit more, around like 1.3, 1.4.
So this is per pound or per kilogram?
This is per pound of body weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we move this so that they can see too?
Oh yeah.
Sit over here.
I was about to say, if you want, you can pull a chair up, sit down next to me. Let's let Instagram actually see what's going on here. So we're just not these disembodied voices speaking to you from the ether.
So Instagram, this is Dan.
Actually, Instagram, if they've been following us for a bit, they know me. They saw me do the fitness show when you guys were off snowboarding.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm just adjusting the height.
Don't get dizzy now.
I know.
Whoa.
Okay. All right, and then my sister's over there. I don't know if you want to join. Oh.
It takes a
yeah, it's got to catch up.
All right. Good.
There we go.
Okay.
So I think it's per kilogram.
Is it per kilogram?
I do.
Huh. Wow.
0.8 to 1.
Okay, I've been giving people bad information. I apologize. So, for those of you who were listening where I said pounds, I actually meant kilograms. So it is per kilogram. Still didn't like the way the camera was. All right.
No.
If you need to, you can tilt it with the handle in the back.
Ah.
There we go.
There we go.
When we move up though from the average person, we start talking about like endurance athletes. They're going to be able to process a little bit more protein and actually utilize it for their body. Then when you get to like strength athletes and power athletes, they can utilize almost 2 grams per kilogram of body weight.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get into like bodybuilding, people who are in a caloric deficit, trying to build muscle tissue, all that. We kind of touched on that earlier. They're going to need, anywhere from 2 to 2.5 grams per pound. And that's while they're eating in a caloric deficit. So, again, kind of falling back to where we were talking about ingesting too much protein can be bad for you. You do have to weigh out your risk versus reward, especially for those people who are in the bodybuilding world. Be smart, be safe, But your protein needs are a lot higher because you've got all that muscle tissue to feed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of my favorite myths surrounding protein, and this is straight from the Bro Science Diaries. Have you ever said to yourself or seen somebody post-workout at the gym, "Oh, I got to slug down my shake," or "I got to run home and get my shake," or "Oh, crap, I forgot my shake." They think they have this short window of time in which they can ingest protein, to get the full benefits out of it.
Don't we call it the anabolic window?
Yes.
Yep.
So what happens during this anabolic window, and I mean, I guess I shouldn't be bunny quoting it because it is in fact a window of time. It's just not 30 minutes long. It's more like 6 hours long. So yeah, you don't need to slug your shake immediately. You can ingest it within 6 hours and still get some pretty good results.
Yeah. So for example, for me, before I knew this, I was concerned about eating exactly right after the gym. So I would prepare. So what I do is I go to the gym after work. So I have all my meals prepared. So I would be concerned about having a meal prepared for me for after the gym. But then I was like, I can just go home and eat. I have plenty of time. There's not a specific amount of time that I need to eat that post-workout meal. So.
But yeah, so I mean, this is a myth that's been perpetuated time and time again, and to be honest, the person who benefits the most from this myth is the supplement company selling you the tub of protein.
Exactly.
That also being said, most people again don't need more than 0.8 grams of protein, so ingesting that shake, you're probably overkilling it. Now that being said, if you're not eating a good, well-rounded diet with plenty of protein sources in it, yeah, you probably should be pounding that shake to make sure you're getting adequate protein. But if you have a well-rounded, healthy diet, you're going to be getting everything that you need from whole foods anyways. So as far as the post-workout's concerned, though, if you are really concerned about what you should eat post-workout, carbs are the most important thing to have post-workout. So if you break it down and think about it, you've just burned through a whole bunch of energy and glycogen. Your muscle tissue's depleted of its energy stores. So the best way to replenish that is with something that's pretty much sugar. So if you've ever seen the guy at the gym grab a handful of gummy bears or gummy worms right after his workout, there is actually a reason why they're doing that. And so I'd say if you do like gummy bears or gummy worms, that's the time to have them. Immediately following a really awesome resistance training workout.
And actually, we're talking about protein. I was going to say, do you want to touch upon simple carbs and complex carbs just for post-workout or?
You know what? Let's save that for another topic.
Okay.
That's a good one we could wrap about for a bit. So we'll definitely cover that in a future episode, guys. We'll we'll talk about simple carbs and complex carbs as it relates to your performance and recovery.
Yep.
But this is a good one. And I mean, I have trouble with this one mostly because I was a carnivore most of my life and just recently became acquainted with vegetables. Apparently they're healthy for you or something like that. So for those of us who are vegetarians or vegans and tend to avoid the animal proteins, the biggest question that I get is, how do I get my protein in? Or, what is a safe way to ingest my proteins? So a big thing to understand is that animal proteins and plant proteins are not the same. They are still proteins, yes, but animal proteins have what we call more of a complete profile. There's a lot of little things going on within the molecules of protein that otherwise you wouldn't see or know about that interact with your body in very specific ways. Now, that doesn't mean that, you can't get a good source of protein or adequate protein from plants. You absolutely can. Don't think for a second that you can't be a vegan or vegetarian bodybuilder, because you can. You can absolutely 100% do it. I know people who are vegetarian bodybuilders.
And animal protein is also more bioavailable, so your body can use it quicker, more efficiently. Not that, like you said, not that you can't be a vegan.
So I know we covered this, but I do want to backtrack because one of our YouTube viewers, who also happens to be a paramedic, let me know.
Cool.
So one of the things that she's seen when it comes to protein and kidney failure and all that, the people who she's seen actually go into kidney failure are the people who are like wicked big into the protein supplements and just overkilling their diet with protein.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's very interesting.
I didn't know it happened that often.
Huh.
Woo. That's not cool.
So,
That's really cool.
not that I'm trying to freak
Not
you
cool,
guys
but-
out or scare you away from taking your protein supplements, but remember, you don't need as much as you think you do, and you
Exactly.
don't need as much as the supplement company is trying to convince you do.
Absolutely.
So, when we're talking about complete and incomplete proteins, plant versus animal, if you are a vegetarian, if you are a vegan, and you are trying to get your protein in, make sure that you kind of rotate the sources you're getting it from, and you've just, don't limit yourself to such a narrow scope, because you absolutely can end up in that window where you're only getting one specific protein, and it's just, it'll wreak havoc on your body in the long run.
Yeah.
So I compiled a little list because I want to, express to everybody that there are a lot of vegetables out there that have proteins in them that you might not even know about. So the short list is tofu. Obviously, that's a big one. That's the one that everyone pretty much goes to and knows about. Edamame, which is the beans. I mean, if you've ever been to a sushi restaurant, absolutely order the edamame.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
So good.
So good.
Oh.
So good. Lentils, chickpeas, legumes such as peanuts, almonds, cashews, Brazil nuts, all that fun stuff. Spirulina, which
What is that?
is
I have it upstairs, actually.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
I actually was supplementing spirulina for a little bit to kind of check it out, try it out. Oh my god, yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
gross.
Oh my god.
So,
Oh,
long story short, I replaced my morning coffee for about a month with spirulina.
you're kidding
What
me.
is it?
A month?
A root?
It's
Isn't
an
it
it's an
seaweed?
algae.
Yeah, an
Oh,
algae, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's
Oh.
it's an algae based
God bless.
plant.
God bless.
A month.
So I have never taken it since then because
Yeah.
my goodness was it gross.
What?
But here's the thing though, I actually felt really good that month, like just
Really?
all around,
There you
because spirulina is one of those superfoods, and I am going to put that one in bunny quotes because what is a superfood?
Exactly. What is
Right.
It's
the
it's got a lot of really good things in it that do good things for your body without getting into the sciencey stuff. So moving on from there, quinoa
Yep.
is also a good source of
And
protein.
I think it's a complete protein. I think that's
I believe
the
you
only
are
one.
correct.
The only one.
I
Oh.
think of grain at least.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't say that I know that for
Quinoa.
everything else.
Yeah.
But
So
I wish I
with
liked
that in
quinoa
mind,
more.
oh really?
I like quinoa,
I like
but
it.
The texture's a
love it.
little
It's-
weird for me,
yeah.
but I do
I'll try
like
it
it.
out again.
I enjoy the taste of it.
something about jasmine rice.
Oh,
Just
God,
gets me.
I love my jasmine rice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for
Well,
it.
by
Yeah.
complete protein, we have to describe what we mean too.
Yeah.
So there's certain amino acids that we need, and that has all of them. That's what a complete protein is. Your body can't produce these certain ones, so it's kind of cool that
Yeah.
quinoa, like a grain, would have
It's
all of
interesting.
them.
Right?
Right.
So-
I think there's 7.
Yes.
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 Yeah, that sounds
Seven
right.
7 essential amino
hmm
acids.
And then of course there's all the fun non-essential stuff, but your body makes that anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
To build off of that with the whole quinoa and a grain that is a complete protein, believe it or not, your whole wheats, your whole grains do also contain protein. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, beans, and rice. Rice contains protein. Beans contain protein. Potatoes also contain protein. Most of your green vegetables are going to have a little bit of protein in them as well.
Yeah.
Now, this is one that I've never actually encountered. It's called seitan. It's
I've never heard of that.
it's a grain. I believe it's like a granular. I could be totally off base and out here. I've only ever read about it and it being talked about as a plant-based protein. But yeah, seitan is one that you can absolutely go to. And then one that I've recently come to really enjoy is Ezekiel bread.
Yes. That's
So-
like my jam. I love Ezekiel
Yes.
bread.
Let me get that thing. Do you have some in the?
I actually
You have
don't.
some?
I didn't get it this
Oh,
week.
no.
I know. Sometimes I don't have it every single week. But
Now, is it just me or no? All right, I'm going to preface this. I do enjoy Ezekiel bread. I like the taste of it,
okay.
but there's something about the smell of it that reminds me of Play-Doh.
Really?
I can see that.
And it's
Yeah.
almost weird. Like I'm eating it. I'm like, okay, this isn't Play-Doh.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I can
not
see
that I
that.
ate Play-Doh as a kid, because nobody did that. Nobody ate the Play-Doh food they made, right? Yeah, who's the weird guy?
Oh my god.
But no, I can see that. Definitely.
That's funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it for that. So again, to our vegetarian, vegan friends out there, you can absolutely get all the protein you need from vegetables. I just implore you and encourage you to make sure you broaden your horizons, try new things. Either of you guys have anything to add as far as our proteins topic is concerned before we wrap for the day?
I would say, for me, at first, I would get stressed out about not having enough protein, and in my snacks, I would focus on protein options. And what you just have to do is increase your proportion of protein for your for your major meals. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Focus on that protein portion instead of focusing on your snacks. Because I don't know, for some reason I would just get so stressed out about getting enough protein, which you don't need, of course, like Dan said, too much, but focus on your main meals. Focus on the amount of protein you're getting in those meals first, and then see if you need additional for your snacks. But probably not. You'd be surprised. You probably don't. So don't waste your money on, like he said, on the shakes, on the bars. Just
eat whole foods.
Exactly. Just eat whole foods.
Hey, it's almost like we run something called a Clean and Lean Challenge that teaches you how to get away from the supplement lifestyle and actually really eat what your body needs.
Yes. Yep.
So, shameless plug going down right now. But for those of you who aren't aware, or for those of you who are aware and just haven't bit the bullet yet, we've got a 6-week program that we run, educates you on eating whole, clean foods, how to clean up your diet. We've had a lot of success with it for our friends and family and clients that have tried it out. I would definitely recommend it and encourage anybody who wants to try to clean up their diet or figure out, what is best for them, but just hasn't really taken that step yet. We're there with you every step of the way. We keep in contact with you through our Coach Catalyst app. You get a lesson delivered straight to your phone every day. There's a lot of work involved with it. I can't sugarcoat that. Like, you have to put in the work. If you're not willing to put in the work, don't waste your money, because it's not going to work for you if you don't want to work for you. But we've taken all the guesswork out. We've taken the pain of going it alone out. It really is just an educational experience and process. And I definitely encourage everybody to either give it a try or, just keep following along with us. Learn what you can, and, take the knowledge that we give you and try to be the best version you can of yourself, inside and out.
And it's also a great start to if you want to clean up your diet for the summer. Because summer's coming. Summer's coming.
Get some motivation.
And if that's a concern to you, this is a great program to start that and to continue. Because it's a lifestyle, and it's a great program.
That's exactly
We all did it ourselves, and it's amazing.
It is.
I mean, you learn everything. You learn everything.
Because the big thing is this isn't a diet that we just give people, be like, here's your diet, follow this and it works, because we could do that. We've got a nutritionist on staff. I've been doing it for years, helping people lose weight, get fit, from cleaning up their diet. But the idea here is you figure out how to build your diet, not just follow what somebody throws out to you as a program or a plan. Now, granted, it is a lot easier to just follow a program and plan and not think about it at all. So for people who do need that extra push, that extra hand-holding, we have also provided a plan that will deliver on exactly what it's supposed to do. Help you lose weight, manage weight, gain weight if you're malnourishing yourself, things like that. Because again, but the fitness industry as a whole tends to focus on weight loss as what is healthy. But there's a lot of people out there that struggle with body image and health issues that has nothing to do with being overweight. It actually comes from and stems from being underweight or malnourishing your body as far as what kind of macronutrients you're getting and not having good, well-rounded meals.
Yeah, you could definitely be overweight and be malnourished at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
For real.
Definitely.
People don't think of that.
Yeah.
So last shameless plug before we let you guys go. We are doing our subscription service now, $5 a month. The recipe that we just cooked today and every recipe that we cook on Sundays, you'll get that delivered to you on Mondays, and you can cook along with us. If you missed the show, you can always watch the re-recording. But, of course, you don't have to subscribe to hang out with us and have a good time and ask questions. So now we'll open the floor before we close for the day. If anybody's got any questions about the show, about health, fitness, nutrition, please throw it out there. We'd love to do a little bit of Q&A before we wrap for the day.
And also, as you are all thinking of your questions. If you follow me on Instagram, there is a link in my profile that has the Clean and Lean Challenge that you can click on. There also is the subscription service, and there is our YouTube link, so you can rewatch any of our episodes. So.
All right. Well, it takes about 8 seconds for the feed to catch up with what we're doing.
I know,
that's
a big delay. Yeah.
So looks like everybody's all set. Everybody asked their questions as we were going through the show.
Great.
Right.
Sounds good.
So thanks again for joining us today, guys. Without you guys watching, we'd just be 3 idiots in a kitchen talking to ourselves. But here we go. We do have a question. What is the best source of fiber? I think this one's definitely subjective, but there are a lot of good sources out there. I'm going to let you approach this one first.
Okay. Just whole grains in general and whole fruits and vegetables. Fiber is the structure of things. You can't really digest it, so anything that's a whole, it has to be a whole. Like, for example, if you're making like a fruit juice or a vegetable juice, the fiber's all gone because they just take out the insides of it. So whole grains, whole fruits.
You know what I just realized? Everybody who's watching on YouTube and Twitch is just staring at me in the top corner in a completely empty room. We should have turned the other cameras too. Hey guys, so this is episode 5. We're still learning about, the best ways to position and set everything up. So those of you on Instagram, you got a great view of the rap session today, but unfortunately for those of you watching on YouTube and Twitch, I apologize. You've just been staring at my ugly mug the whole time in a big empty room.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll definitely address that.
Yes.
I'll get a different setup and an overlay. Yeah. So next week it'll be a little bit better for everybody watching.
That is really cool.
Thanks again for joining us today, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Have an awesome Sunday and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thanks, guys.